Yeah.
You have to take the power steering pump off, or at least the pulley. And the reason why is there's one bolt. I have all the bolts out, but there's one bolt right there to get the timing cover off. Okay, so you have to get, I'm sure there's better tools out there on the market than these, but this goes, this lip goes around here and it pinches. Okay, well, here's my problem. My tool is that length. Alright, sorry, but that's all I got to work with. Okay, it's got to be way back here in these threads. So I'm gonna have to modify this cheap piece of crap Chinese tool, and I'm gonna show you how to do that real quick, because you can buy this pretty much anywhere, any part store. Alright, so here's the tool, right, or at least part of the tool. See, you just pull that apart. That's got a little ball bearing in it. Don't lose that. It helps this rotate a little bit more. I'll show you a little bit more about it. Alright, now I took a hacksaw blade and marked it. That's about as far as it should go into the pulley. Alright, so we also want to give it enough room to work. So I'm going to go, like, probably right here. Alright, this is a drill. I recommend that every grown man have one of these. You don't even have to buy an expensive one like this one. You can just buy El Cheapo. Put that in the chuck. Saw blade, hacksaw blade. Find out where you want to cut it. Then after a couple of minutes of using the drill and the blade, you get a nice finished product compared to the one that you got from the store. Machine Shop 101, y'all. Alright, so I just wanted to share with you that this power steering pump pulley will kick your ass. So I just wanted to show you my little contraption here. I have a breaker bar running across the core support to the sway bar. Okay, here's my jack handle I'm using as a cheater bar. I have a crescent wrench because I can't figure out what size nut this is. And this is like a sleeve that fits over those two couplers. It wasn't gripping very well. It would let these kind of slide loose, so I put a hose clamp around it. Yeah, it's kind of kind of MacGyverish, but had to get it done. So I'm gonna keep on cranking on this so I can get this timing cover. Alright, now once you get the power steering pump pulley off, you can get that last bolt right there, but I forgot that this little bolt right here that holds the power steering pump on, which is the last one that holds it on, because we have to change the power steering pump anyway. There's that bolt right there. It actually holds the timing cover on too, so we're going to go ahead and get that right now. Alright, here we are. Timing cover is off. Now I'm going to I want to put cylinder 1 at top dead center. Now I'm disassembling this motor and changing the heads, so it really wouldn't matter, but it's always good practice. Now I'm going to recommend one thing for this job. If you are new at wrenching, if you get on Amazon, there is a cam positioning tool. Okay, so what it's going to do is it's going to slip over this keyway and it's going to hold it on this little dowel pin right here, and that's going to hold cylinder 1 in the top dead center. Now, with that being said, if you don't have the money to buy that tool, which it's only like $12, but you know, $12 might, you know, be make or break for you. There's a timing mark right here that needs to be at 6 o'clock, all the way down. And when that is at 6 o'clock, where's it at? Right here. That timing mark, that little dot, will be at about 11 o'clock on the passenger side, and this one will be at about 12 o'clock. Now, if you're using this video for a reference to just change the timing chains, which is cool by me, you should buy this tool. There's two of them. There's going to be two of them, and what it does is it slips over the cam and holds the cam in place, because once you take your timing chains off, the cam is going to rotate. Now, I'm recommending this because it makes life a lot easier, but if you can't buy these tools, you can take all of the cam followers off, which, if you're not knowing what I'm talking about, it's these little rocker arms, you know, but on modular motors they call them cam followers. You can pop all these off with a flathead. Not very hard. You just gotta make sure the lobe isn't pushed down on it. Yeah. But you should never move the crank without moving the cam, and you should never move the cam without moving the crank. That way you know for sure that you're not going to mess anything up. This is not a Coyote. This doesn't have VCT. It's not like the computer is going to correct itself. It does not have phasers. These cams are locked. So you really have to be careful on what you're doing. We're not going to get into degreeing cams, because this is not, I mean, we're not making a high performance machine here. This is going to be a street car, that, you know, budget friendly street car that, you know, I don't really think it requires cam degreeing. And not to mention, you have to buy these specific crank gears, or you can buy cam gears. I prefer the crank gears because they're a little bit more consistent. I think Trick Flow makes them. And we are going to be using Windsor cams, which yeah, you can't unbolt the cam gear on Windsor cams. They are pressed on. So we'll go over all them differences later. I just wanted to make this a little bit of a reference and kind of break it down for you guys. But it's simple from here. You just got to get cylinder 1 at top dead center. Oh, and before, if you want to see, look, these marks right here on the timing cover, if you just want to set it before you take it all apart, top dead center, 10 degrees before top dead center, 30 degrees before top dead center. So just put the keyway at top dead center. Now here's a little tip. I got all the head bolts out, and you see these two right here? There's going to be some more on the other side. You're going to go to pull them out, and you're going to be like, uh-oh, can't get them out. They're hitting the shock tower. Not a big deal. I'm just going to lift the head. Well, you got to remember that. Why? Because whenever you go to put the new head back on, or put the head back on, whatever, blah, 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 you're going to be awfully pissed off whenever you got to pull the head back off and put these two bolts in place. Now, these bolts are torque to yield bolts. You are not supposed to reuse these. You're not supposed to reuse these. With that being said, I've seen people reuse them and not have a problem. I'm going to leave that up to you, but I can't recommend reusing them. I'm sorry. If it's in your budget, I would just go ahead and get ARP head studs, especially if you plan on keeping the car for a long time. Or just get just factory replacements, torque to yield. It's really, when you come to think about it, with insurance and all that other stuff, blah blah blah, however you want to look at it, ARP head studs is definitely the way to go because the cost is not that big of a difference. So I'll leave that up to you, but just word from the wise. All right, got the head off, and looking at the pistons, they actually look really good. The bore on the block, I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but I can still see the factory cross hatchings. So these motors are so stout. I mean, they get a bad rep, and that's fine. But these are a really, really decent platform, especially if you are planning to go all out, get some boost. Yeah, these motors respond exceptionally well to boost. And while you're here, if you want to get that top starter bolt out, just for later on down the road, whenever eventually you're gonna have to change a starter, and they are a pain in the balls. So if you want to go ahead and take that bolt out now, that would be a good time to do so. If not, struggle with it. I've got a little system to get it done. It doesn't really bother me, but most people they pull their hair out and write suicide letters because of that goddamn bolt right there. Got the other head off. Itty bitty baby block. Looks kind of lost in that engine bay without all them heads, all that head on it. Them heads are huge. I'm kind of at a standstill right now because I'm waiting on some parts to come, which is not going to hurt my feelings any because I have a lot of other work I can do to this car while we're waiting. The one thing I am going to do though before I call it quits on underneath the hood that we took off is I'm going to change the oil pump. It's not bad, I'm sure, but this ain't a spring chicken here. I mean, this old girl's a 98, and it's got some miles on her, so I have one. It's brand new. Why not? And I'm going to show you another thing too. A lot of people might disagree with me on this, but that's okay. But if you notice, I didn't drain the oil, and the reason why is I try to make that the last thing I do, if possible. Sometimes you have to drain the oil pan, but I did not want to because, for example, especially for beginners, you get overzealous and you get excited and you go to fire it up and you forgot to top it off with oil. So a little bit of dirty oil is better than nothing at all. So we'll just leave it at that. Just my theory. You can disagree. You can even troll me. I don't care. If you want to, you can fight me, but I doubt you will. There you go. I'm going to get to work on this oil pump. It's nothing but these 4 bolts here, and then the pickup tube, which is right there, has 2 bolts on it.